very much a Far Eastern flavour in the 20k walk, as we just now can go through in country order the competitors. The Australians have got a good contingent. Jared Talent, of course, has got a great record over the years. Possibly at this event now, Dane Verd-Smith is the #1 man. Those are the 3 Chinese that I've mentioned, Tsai, Chen and Wang. Colombia, good set of walkers for them. Arevalo, the former junior champion. Diego Garcia going for Spain, who's the European junior champion at 10 kilometers walk. Johan Diniz of France not competing through injury this year, so just 1 Frenchman in the team, Campion. The Italians, usually pretty strong. Giorgio Rubino has got a good international record. There, they're the Japanese. Fujisawa, Suzuki and Takahashi, all under 1 hour 50. And then Kim heading the Korean challenge as well. They too have 3 men. And Mexico with a great tradition in the event. Nava, usually better known as a 50k runner. So Eda Sanchez has the best credentials. Taisa of Norway also been around. Dmitrenko of Ukraine was well up there amongst the world best last year. So that's just a taster of some of the names to look out for when they get underway, which will be in 5 minutes or so.
Peter, just giving you a quick rundown there of all the walkers in this particular race. I know for a fact that the Chinese, as Peter said, are taking this very, very seriously indeed. They've been at altitude training. I know that for a fact. My son was up there early in the year, and they were there then. They've been there for 3 months training at altitude. They realise that this is their big chance of a gold medal, and they're taking it very, very seriously indeed.
Where was that, Steve?
Sorry?
Where did they go to at altitude?
San Moritz. They're at San Moritz. My son was training up there as well, and he said that they were out there virtually all day, every day. Their trainer was following them on a bicycle. My son is a cyclist, and he was coming past them all the time. And they were out there in the morning, and when he came back from his long ride, they were back still doing their training. So obviously they're very, very serious. And this is their big, big chance of a gold medal.
Well, and they just managed to produce a world record in the women's 20k walk earlier this season as well. So it could be a bold bid for double gold as far as the Chinese are concerned. But they've certainly seemed to dominate race walking in recent years, along with the Russians, of course. Great tradition from both nations. Not too many people in the stadium yet, but we are just coming up to 8:30 local time. I'm sure by the time the eventual winners or medalists get back into this stadium in around about 1 hour, 23, 24 minutes time, if there are any Chinese amongst that top 3, then they'll get an almighty reception. There was a huge echo of applause for the Chinese marathon runners who made their way in at the end of their epic 26.2-mile run yesterday.
It'll be interesting to see how many spectators are actually out there on the course. I assume that the public will have access to it, though I'm not absolutely certain on that.
Chen, Wang and Kai carrying the hopes of a nation on their shoulders.
Well, that can sometimes help, or it can sometimes be a major pressure. But no doubt about it, they have been preparing pretty well. And they look happy enough there at the front, not taking any chances of staying at the back at the start, even though it is a race walk. Lopez, one of the other big contenders, Miguel Angel Lopez of Spain. And there he is, the world record holder, Suzuki. Takahashi, his teammate. Great tradition in all distances in Japan, marathons, walks. Again, they have a real chance of maybe snatching that gold.
Well, the Chinese will do absolutely everything they can to ensure their near neighbours don't rob them of a chance of homegrown gold.
Well, it's not a sprint start, but they're towing the line, aren't they? Here we go. Every single one of those walkers, I think, started their watch timers as the gun went. They know what pace to go, but look at this. The Chinese are not taking any prisoners at all, are they? They're going out very hard indeed.
Setting their stall out right from the very beginning here. This is certainly an early declaration of intent.
It's much similar to the men's 10,000 last night when the Kenyans decided they wanted to go out hard and make a good race of it. I think the Chinese have decided the only way really maybe to take it to the Japanese is to go out hard all the way in these conditions.
Well, it's almost metronomic, single file.
Well, usually in race walking they take the first lap or so fairly casually. Oh, there's been someone's had a bit of a problem already there over the back straight. I have to wait and see who that was, but obviously having problems with his shoes or something. He's got back in, thankfully, but it's Indian file already. So, yes, you can see there is a declaration of intent. And Suzuki, the world record holder there, he is in 5th place, obviously realising that the danger is up ahead of him and he's just got to stay in touch as long as he possibly can. There he is. Easy to spot. Headgear and the sunglasses.
Lopez just tucked in behind the Japanese world record holder.
Well, I wonder if the Chinese have got a method in their effort here, whether someone has to take the pace for the first 5K and then someone else the next 10K and so on. But at the moment, it does definitely look, and you can see now, Suzuki is not taking any chances at all. He's gone right past, I think it is, sorry, can't see the number at the moment, in 4th place. He's gone right past and onto the shoulder of the 3 Chinese walkers.
I mean, just on that first lap, there's now something like 60 metres from the front to the back of the pack, just showing the pace that they're going
That's right.
at.
I think we've been to enough of these World Championships and race walking finals to know that this is really something quite special here. This is, I think, the Chinese answer to a gold medal. They really are trying as best they can, and the difference between, as Peter said, the leader and the back of this race walk is about 100 metres or so, Neil.
This is different pace. We've become accustomed in major races to the Russian method, which is to gradually step up the pace throughout the race from not a slow start exactly, but a slower start, and getting it quicker and quicker and quicker. Well, the Chinese have said, right, we go out hard right from the start. Slightly different tactics, and of course we don't have the Russians here.
Well, that's possibly why they're doing it, but I think they realise still that it's not going to be all their own race. Lopez, Suzuki there, they've realised the danger straight away. They must have known that this was going to happen because they weren't lingering at the back when the Chinese walkers literally shot to the front. They were straight on them. The other factor, obviously, in race walking, when you're sort of, say, walking at this sort of pace for this sort of distance and for this sort of time, is the technique. They've really got to be careful because as the race progresses, they get tired. And as they get tired, obviously the faults creep into their technique. And that's when the referees around the course will be watching very closely indeed.
Just watching Dane Bird-Smith there. He's now moving towards the head of that chase group, trying to close the gap up ahead to that leading quintet. It's Lopez just off the back of that 5, and Bird-Smith is just trying to move alongside the Mexican in 6th place, realizing perhaps that this isn't just a temporary testing of the pace. There he is, the big Australian just on the shoulder of Sanchez. And they are actually closing that gap. It looks as though the 3 Chinese leaders have actually just slowed up a little.
And the first kilometre, 3:56. That's quick.
Yeah, they've gone off hard, but I think they also realise they cannot keep this rhythm going. And quite rightly, the other athletes have moved slowly but surely at a sensible pace back to the leaders. Still, the damage has been done, really. They really have now thrown the gauntlet down.
Maybe there was a little touch of adrenaline there amongst the
big crowd here in the stadium, yeah, and they have been training a long time for this. Even though they look relaxed, you sense there was a little bit of tension there. As you said, Rob, the weight of the country are on their shoulders, in expectation anyway.
So Sanchez, Bird-Smith, and the other of the 2 classy Japanese athletes have closed the gap on the lead 5. It's still pretty much single file. But a lap and a half ago, that was what, 15, 20 meters? And now they have reattached themselves to the back of this trio.
Well, the Olympic champion Chen now is looking around to see where his teammates are as they slightly move across from the inside on making their way out from the stadium. A little bit of shade, actually, a little bit of shade in the stadium. So I think when they get out onto the 2 kilometre loop, it won't be as nice for them. There's a little bit. There he is. He's just getting the crowd worked up as he goes out. Chen, the Olympic champion, saying, "I'm really here. I'm okay. I'm in good shape." And the crowd enjoyed that, didn't they?
I'll tell you what. I haven't seen that. He's less than, well, he's about a tenth of the way into the race. That would be like a marathon runner waving to the crowd on his way out.
Oh, and he's enjoying it. It's good to see a bit of enthusiasm, I think. We lack that sometimes in athletics. I quite like the individuals. And Chen obviously enjoying himself at the moment, but it's a long, long way before he reaches the finish line.
That was a big call to do that. It shows you he's seriously fired up for this. There he is, the Olympic champion, just running on the left-hand side of the 3 Chinese athletes. Ethiopian and British flags flying there. But a little moment of exuberance there from Chen, the Olympic champion. Only the 2nd Chinese man to become an athletics Olympic champion, after Liu Zhang, of course, who has so recently retired. And it's Chen who leads what is now a familiar bunched group. So
all these Chinese athletes are about 23, 24, so they're young men, really. They've got a whole future in race walking, and they're already very, very successful. Bert Smith, the big, tall Australian, really dwarfing the other walkers around him. There he is in the yellow and gold of Australia. Sorry, the gold and green, I should say, of Australia. He's in about 3rd or 4th place. He's mixing it at the moment. Australia obviously has got a great tradition as well of race walkers.
And not least for him, of course, because his father, David Smith, was an international top walker for many years.
So obviously doing very well at the moment.
it might just come down to who wants it the most now. What a prize awaits Zheng Wang if he is to hang on here and produce a moment of history for Chinese athletics and Chinese race walking. But Lopez is still there, like a spectre of doom, like a shadow, waiting to pounce on Wang's ambition for gold and for glory. It's too close to call at this stage.
It is almost on his heels, isn't he? Must sense it. They're now waiting, I think. They know now that it's it'll be senseless, really, maybe to try too hard too early. Lopez has maybe taken a little bit of a breather there, if you can say that. Wang's looking across at him, so they're thinking, what's going on? But maybe Lopez just held back a little bit there, got himself a little bit of a breather before he's decided to move on. But Wang, no, is not giving ground.
Still a reasonably good pace. It's been consistent, hasn't it? 3:55, so they're still knocking out the sub-4 minute kilometres. Well, imagine the noise, Steve, if they enter the stadium together. I'm sure the crowd would give Wang a couple of seconds.
Oh, they're panning back to Benjamin Thorne of Canada. Not sure where he is in the actual positions because these two athletes are a long, long way ahead of anybody behind. Camera's not really panning back that far at the moment, so we'll try and keep you up to date who's in the bronze medal position. But these two at the moment are having a battle royal up at front.
Well, Ben Thorne has been having a good walk. We did see him getting warned by one of the judges. Second in the World Student Games this year. 20.
No, the gap is widening with each stride, really. Lopez knows, I think, when he heard the bell that he had it in the bag, and he just almost increased his stride significantly in that sort of 200, 300-metre period and pulled a gap away. And as you say, I think Wang conceded at that point.
Well, his job now is just to focus on his rhythm and his technique and make sure he hangs on to second place to match the achievements of Gong last night in the stadium.
Well, as you say, this will be a fantastic performance for Spain, but he's the European champion, this man. 5th at the Olympics at 20K, and then the bronze in Moscow in 2013. And this will be his best performance by far in his career.
I thought for a moment there he was going to pick up the Spanish flag. They were holding it out for him. That's a little bit too early.
I think so. I think
with about a kilometre to go.
Oh, he'll probably drape himself with it on his lap of honour, and maybe he'll enjoy that pretty soon, because he's not far now before he comes back into the stadium. As Peter said, it's closing in on the 120, just under, and he knows he's got it. Yep, he's signalling to the camera crew, I think, and to those fans back home. Wang, there he is. He did his best. I think he's still walking, and he's walking hard, but he's not going to get the gold. He'll get the silver.
But he just needs, unlike the marathon runners who can celebrate, of course, he's right to be exuberant, and it's great to see a champion expressing themselves. But in amongst all the waving and the I'm number one, he does need to maintain his focus on his technique as he now goes into the shadow of the stadium. And in a few seconds' time, he will emerge. He'll get a cheer, but not quite as big a cheer as that which will greet Zhen Wang when he comes into the stadium in second place.
Well, they've watched this walk, haven't they? For the last hour and 20 minutes, all the spectators in the stadium, they've been waiting in anticipation of a gold medal for China. But it looks as if it's going to be this man now. Lopez of Spain. What a walk, really. He's come back from behind. He's pushed all the way. The crowd are enjoying it. The arms go aloft. Wang is just behind, just coming into the stadium now. There he is. He's done the best he can, this man. And all he has to do now is accept the applause of the crowd.
And listen to that reception for Zhen Wang. Thoroughly deserved. But so too the plaudits for Miguel Angel Lopez. He's been around a long time. Yes, he's taken a European gold, and yes, he's taken a World Championship bronze, but this is the biggest moment of his career by some margin. Miguel Angel Lopez is the world champion, well inside 1 hour 20, and that was a beautifully judged piece of race walking. Zhen Wang, no disgrace with silver for him.
Marvellous performance.
Adding to his Olympic bronze. Zhen Wang will be the toast of China. He gave it absolutely everything. Not quite enough for gold, but that was a brilliant, brilliant silver medal.
Yeah, marvellous performance from Wang, really, at the end of the day.
And look at Thorne. Ben Thorne has produced the best 1 hour and 20 minutes of his career. Well, 20th 2 years ago, and he's found himself on the podium.
Well, great performance from all those athletes, really. Lopez, though, fantastic, really.
Thorne deserves a bit of a party tonight, wherever that may be in Beijing.
Well, I think he gets 20,000 too, so he'll buy the first round, I hope, after that.